For decades, the most successful traders on Wall Street relied on a continuous stream of paper. They read the physical ticker tape, interpreting the exact volume of orders flowing across the exchange floor. When the floor swapped the paper tape for electronic charts, that raw order flow was digitized. Many modern strategies, such as price action trading, focus strictly on these digitized visual patterns. By looking only at the naked chart, traders prioritize the shape of price movement over the data points that generate it. This creates a disconnect between the visual result and the underlying cause. A massive breakout candle might appear decisive on a chart, but without a volume indicator, there is no way to see the actual capital flow required to move that price. It is the equivalent of participating in an online auction where the number of competing bidders is hidden. You can see the current bid ticking higher, but you cannot tell if 1,000 people are fighting for the item, or if the auctioneer is simply taking fake bids off the wall to generate momentum. Price shows you the final result of a trading session, but to validate true market intent, you have to measure the underlying effort required to create that result. This concept was formalized over a century ago by Richard Wyckoff. He built his methodology by decoding the physical ticker tape, identifying the supply and demand hidden within the numbers recorded on this mechanical ticker. From his observations, he developed 3 foundational rules for market behavior. The most critical for reading charts is his third law, the law of effort versus result. In technical terms, volume is the objective metric for market effort. The price spread, the distance the price travels, is the result. By comparing these two variables, every single price bar on a chart can be categorized as either a validation, where the volume confirms the price movement, or an anomaly, where the effort and result do not align. Applying this relationship provides the framework needed to distinguish genuine institutional trends from manufactured market maker traps. To understand why price action fails on its own, we have to deconstruct a standard candlestick to its atomic elements. A candle records 4 data points for a specific time frame: the open, the high, the low, and the close. The body of the candle is the spread. This absolute distance between the opening price and the closing price represents the net directional sentiment of that specific trading session. This diagram maps a static candlestick into a continuous sine wave. Inside the candle, the market is oscillating as buyers and sellers battle for control between the high and low points. The wicks of the candle represent specific inflection points in this sine wave. A long upper wick shows exactly where buyers pushed the price to a high before being overwhelmed by sellers who forced the price back down. The spread and the wicks effectively report who won the battle for that session, but they fail to report the total capital deployed to secure that victory. Analyzing candle shapes without volume leaves traders vulnerable. They are attempting to read the narrative of the market without knowing the stakes on the table. The reason those stakes matter comes down to the mechanics of market makers. As financial author Richard Ney documented, market makers act strictly as wholesale merchants managing inventory. Their primary objective is identical to any physical retailer: accumulate stock inventory at wholesale prices and distribute it to the public at retail prices. This diagram models the wholesaler's distribution network. Market makers have the capital and the structural position to artificially mark prices up or down. They do this to test retail interest or to intentionally trigger clusters of stop-loss orders. While these wholesalers can easily manipulate the price display on the screen, they cannot hide the volume footprint generated when they accumulate or dump millions of shares of inventory. In decentralized markets like spot Forex, where traditional volume isn't reported centrally, tick volume, measuring the sheer highly accurate proxy for this institutional error. This chart shows a widespread upward candlestick paired with a highly elevated volume bar. This is a validation. The massive effort of the volume exactly matches the large result of the price spread. Institutional capital is actively driving the trend higher. By contrast, this chart displays a widespread upward candlestick paired with a significantly below average small volume bar. This is our first specific anomaly, the trap. A massive price jump on low volume defies the law of effort versus result. A large result generated by very little effort is a logical contradiction. This divergence indicates market makers are marking up the price to bait retail buyers. They are moving the quote higher to trigger excitement without actually committing their own capital to the move. Identifying this specific divergence is the primary defense against buying into manufactured breakouts that immediately reverse. This chart reveals the second major anomaly type, a very narrow spread candlestick paired with a massive, highly elevated volume bar. Generating extreme volume while yielding almost zero price movement indicates that maximum effort is producing no result. This action defines a climax point. Institutional selling is absorbing all eager retail buying. Every time new buyers try to push the price higher, wholesalers dump inventory, effectively locking the price in place. It operates like a car spinning its tires on an icy hill. The engine applies maximum effort, but the vehicle has zero forward momentum. This combination of high effort and low results signals that institutional participation has reached a point of exhaustion, often marking the end of a trend. This chart expands the model to an entire trend. Here we have a sequence of 3 downward candles with increasing spreads, matched by sequentially rising volume bars. This rising volume validates the multi-bar drop. Institutions are heavily participating in the downward momentum. Downward trends can be counterintuitive, but the market requires just as much rising effort to push prices lower as it does to push them higher. If you observed a similar sequence of downward candles, but the volume was steadily diminishing, that would indicate the selling pressure was exhausted. The effort would be drying up. The law of effort versus result scales universally. It provides mathematical validation for individual moments of price action and for the broader market cycles built by those moments. A financial market operates with the momentum of a supertanker. It cannot stop and reverse instantly, even when a massive volume anomaly appears. Instead, the market enters a mopping up phase. This is a period of sideways price congestion where market makers absorb the last remaining traders before executing the reversal. Strict patience is required. When you spot a climax anomaly, you are seeing the early warning sign. The institutional reversal will regularly happen on that single isolated candle. Volume price analysis is an art requiring subjective triangulation, not a mechanical system you can fully automate. By combining the qualitative result of price with the quantitative effort of volume, you stop reacting to the illusions on a naked chart. You transition from a victim of market manipulation to a partner of institutional flow.